When most people talk about discipline, they think it's just about forcing yourself to do something you hate, right? But today, we're going so much deeper than that. We're going to explore a level of control that's so absolute, it's almost mechanical. All right, let's get into it.
What you're about to see isn't just a list of life hacks or some simple productivity tips. No, this is a look inside a completely different operating system. We're talking about the mindset that really separates the elite from everybody else. This is the psychology of the 1%.
And here it is, the core idea that just shatters everything we're normally taught. We're always told to find your motivation, right? To get inspired. But the most disciplined people on the planet, they operate on a totally different kind of fuel. They actually begin their work at the exact moment that feeling, that desire, that motivation is completely gone. Okay, so let's start by tearing apart the biggest lie we've all been sold, how important motivation is. For most people, you see, motivation isn't a tool, it's a drug. It's this fleeting high they're always chasing, convinced they just can't act without it. So I really want you to ask yourself this, and be totally honest. Do you wait until you feel like it? Do you find yourself scrolling, looking for that one video or quote to give you a hit of inspiration before you start? That whole search, it trains your brain to need a jolt of dopamine, that feel-good chemical, just to get going. If you need that rush, you're not in control. You're literally a slave to a chemical reaction inside your own head.
Just look at this breakdown. It's such a stark contrast. On one side, you've got the addict, the 99%, who's always waiting for the right feeling to strike. But then you look at the other side, the elite. They've taken feeling completely out of the equation. They don't wait around for motivation. They rely on something called automaticity. They're not looking for a rush. They just execute a system.
And look, this isn't just some edgy phrase. It's a tactical reality. Relying on an emotion as flaky as motivation is a structural weakness in your whole operating system. The people who are truly strong, they've built something way more reliable.
So if motivation is the trap, then what's the way out? Well, it's a concept called automaticity. And this is all about rewiring your brain so that you bypass the need to even make a decision in the first place. Let's dig into how that actually works.
Automaticity. That's the end goal. It's a state where your actions become as second nature as breathing. I mean, think about it. You don't debate whether or not to lock your front door when you leave. You just do it. That's automaticity. You don't deliberate, you don't negotiate with yourself, you don't ask for permission, you just execute. And you don't get there through sheer willpower, you get there through conditioning.
A huge part of this conditioning is mastering delayed gratification. A weak mind craves that immediate pleasure, the easy route. But a rewired brain, it understands that choosing long-term power over a short-term feeling, well, that's the ultimate weapon. It just calmly says, not now, later.
And really, it all comes down to this simple hierarchy. A system is just a set of rules you decided on ahead of time, back when you were thinking clearly and logically. It has no emotion. So when your feelings start screaming at you to take a shortcut, the system is what you listen to. Your emotions are just noise. The system is the signal.
And here's the how-to. Here's how you actually build it using a tool called implementation intentions. It's a simple 3-step formula. 1. You set a really clear cue. For instance, when my first alarm goes off. 2. You define the exact action, no wiggle room. I will immediately stand up and walk to the bathroom. And 3, this is the most important part, when the cue happens, you execute. No thought, no permission, no emotion. It works because it yanks the decision-making process right out of that moment of weakness.
Okay, now let's talk about how this internal mastery translates into an external strategy. See, once you get control of your inner world, it completely changes how you operate in the outer world. The disciplined mind gets the strategic advantage of just being quiet.
2 words, that's it. That's the entire strategy. Your energy isn't for talking about what you're going to do, or announcing your plans, or explaining yourself. It is for one thing, and one thing only. Execution. Period.
So why is being silent so critical? Because talking about your goals is a total trap. It's a brain hack. Announcing your intention actually gives your brain a premature sense of accomplishment. That little dopamine hit you get when someone says, wow, that's a great idea, it actually makes you less likely to do the hard work. It feeds your ego without producing any real results, and it just invites the noise of other people's doubts and opinions. The only thing that matters, the only truth, is what you actually do.
This brings us to the final and honestly the most profound stage of this entire transformation. At this point, it's not just about what you do anymore. It becomes about who you are. This is where discipline becomes your fundamental identity.
And we're back to this number. Why? Because reaching this stage is incredibly rare. It takes a level of commitment that, frankly, most people won't ever even consider. It's the defining trait of the 1%.
And this distinction is absolutely critical. A performance is for an audience. It's what you do when other people are watching. Identity, that's who you are at 5 a.m. When it's cold, you're all alone and nobody would ever know if you just quit. It's not a choice anymore. It's just who you are.
And this right here, this is the ultimate test. I mean, anybody can perform when they feel good, when they're motivated. But when you execute your system on your absolute worst day, when you're tired or sick or totally discouraged, that's the moment. That's the moment you know you've won. That is when you finally mastered the beast within. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one choice. There is no neutral ground, there's no middle path here. You either build the systems to control your own mind, or its impulses and its emotions are going to control you. Plain and simple. The choice is yours.